So the Sixers rebound against the Toronto Raptors thanks to the one and only 21-year-old future superstar Tyrese Maxey. What an unreal performance. Let's break it all down.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Philly Take with RB, #1 show for Sixers fans. You know the drill. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show, hit the bell. Don't miss any of the upcoming content. We're back today on the Breakdown Show, the day after recap, where we decipher what the heck happened last night at Scotiabank Arena. Man, I mean, what a night. What a night for Philly sports in general. Like I said yesterday in my video, if you didn't check that out, I will not be live tonight. I wasn't live last night. Took a few off. A lot going on with Philly sports right now. But, you know, we always continue to break it down one way or the other. And I'll be honest, I was watching the Phillies last night for a majority of the night. Go Phillies. They take the dub. But I was also flipping back and forth. I caught a good amount of this game as well. And what a way for the Sixers to come back and rebound and get that second win of the season. Like I said, you know, all the spotlight is on the Phillies right now. The Sixers need to rack up a couple W's, and they had a stellar performance last night. No Joel Embiid, but how about Tyrese Maxey stepping up and having such a massive career game? We will break it all down. There's a lot I want to look at in terms of this game. But before we do that, shout out to the sponsor of today's show, Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is your leading health provider for at-home testing kits. They make professional health testing much easier by letting you get tested without having to visit a healthcare provider. With them, you order a testing kit from their website. It comes to your house just like this, right to your front doorstep in this kit. And once you take the test and send it back within 2 to 5 days, you can view your confidential results either in real time on their app, or you can even have a member of their team call you to go over the results. And those results are reviewed by a clinician. And those get sent right back to the labs. You know, their labs are CLIA approved and CAP accredited, which are the highest ranking levels of accreditation. Essentially what LGC is trying to do is, you know, expedite the process, make it much easier. You don't have to go and sit in those tiresome doctor's office visits. You don't have to go through the entire insurance process. They make it 10 times easier for you to get tested. Maybe you're a female out there, you want a fertility test. Maybe you're a male out there, you want a hormone test. Any type of test you can think of, they probably have it. Go check their inventory, 30 plus tests that you can choose from, and it gets delivered right to your doorstep, and it's as easy as that. So shout out to Let's Get Checked for changing the industry. Go and click their link down in the description. Use promo code Philly25 to get 25% off your order. Speaking of checked, we need to get checked in on what the heck happened last night. Tyrese Maxey is unreal. Tyrese Maxey is unreal. He comes out, and this is the night that he posts without Joel Embiid, without a lot of noise around this Sixers team because everybody's watching the Phillies. Tyrese Maxey, 44 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 75% from the field, 9 for 12 from 3. He had a career night. I think he had career highs in about 4 or 5 categories. What a way to attack, you know, and just what a way to go out and seize that opportunity. I figured Tyrese Maxey would have a good game. I didn't know he would go off like this. It kind of reminded me of the Raptors playoff game where he put up 38 in game 1. He was locked in. He was doing his thing. At halftime, Tyrese Maxey had 27 points, 10 for 10 from the field, 7 for 7 from deep. Most points and a half without a miss by any player this season. And let's take it one step further. Shout out to ESPN Stats with the crazy stat. Tyrese Maxey has now tied Kyrie Irving back in 2020 and Yao Ming back in 2008 for the most points in a half on 100% shooting by any player in the play-by-play era since 1996. He has also joined Joel Embiid and Allen Iverson as the only Sixers players to score 27 points in a half in that span. Just, you know, putting his name up there with with a great collection, honestly. And just what he was able to do last night, it really instilled that confidence in me that he can be that guy, and it was special. Shout out to Austin Krell as well. Maxey's now tied for 8th in the NBA in threes made thus far in 2022-23, shooting 20 for 41 now in the season from deep, 48.8%. This kid is special, man. The biggest takeaway for me last night, like I said, I caught a good amount of this game, and I saw him rain in threes. It didn't matter if it was on the catch and shoot, him initiating the offense. I thought he had a lot of touches last night, and deservedly so without Joel Embiid. And it just showed me that he can be such a lethal player, not only, when he's free and running around the floor and initiating offense, but just when the offense moves quicker. He can get up the floor, he goes downhill, and he's able to knock down shots. And he's so confident, man, when you give him the amount of touches that he needs. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about give him the keys, let him be the first or second option on most nights. We saw it last night. He can absolutely seize the moment. And this was against a tough Toronto defense, and he just went out there and exploited them all night long. Now, a lot of people are starting to talk about after last night, well, what do we do with Joel Embiid? How come without Joel we look so much better? I'm not ready to say, we need to go over the edge and talk bad about Joel Embiid. I mean, Joel Embiid is a dominant force. He's a dominant presence. The fact of the matter is maybe he's just not that good of a matchup against the Toronto Raptors, who like to go smaller, younger, more athletic. They switch everything. They throw a lot of doubles. The Sixers offense was so free-flowing last night. Everything just looked smoother. A lot of touch passes, a lot of actions. Guys were able to move quick and keep up with that intensity of the Toronto Raptors. But I was just really impressed with the way Tyrese Maxey seized this moment. It wasn't James Harden. It wasn't Tobias. It was Tyrese Maxey who got the brunt of it last night, and he was just special. He was very special. Maxey also had, like I said, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He was doing everything. He was doing everything. A plus 29 in 40 minutes played. I want to take a look at a couple plays real quick from Maxey just to show the brilliance that he had last night, because he was the story of the game. I mean, without Maxey, we don't win this game. He was fantastic. So the first one is a Tyrese Maxey blow-by. Look at the way he brings the ball up the floor here. And we set a little double action. And look how Maxey can just blow by defenders. These are not just average defenders. The way the Raptors play, they're able to stay with their guys. And they were guarding him beyond the perimeter. He just goes right to the basket. It was very special. The next play I want to look at is Tyrese Maxey with a beautiful dime, because not only was he scoring the ball last night, like I said, he was initiating offense. He was finding guys. I mean, it almost looked like he's been taking a hint or two from James Harden, like he's grabbing that wisdom. And look at how Maxey right here, he has the ball up at the wing. He blows by defender, draws in 4, and sends it over to PJ Tucker for a 3. I want to look at that again. That was special, man. Look at the way, this is what I talk about with the growth of a point guard, with the maturity level. He blows by and he draws all of them in. That is the type of attention that Tyrese Maxey warrants. So in the first 5 games of the season, when I'm talking about why doesn't he have the ball more? Where are his touches? Look at what he demands. Look at what he demands. And he just finds that look so easy, wide open to PJ Tucker. This is what we need more of in this Sixers offense. And, I think that with Joel Embiid, with James Harden, with Tyrese Maxey, you can figure out the system. It just needs to click. You need a competent coach that can structure that and figure it out in terms of who gets what touches, who's initiating at what time. And this is something we've talked about a lot in terms of the identity of the offense. And, a lot of people have been talking about maybe you let Maxey go with the second unit. In fact, I might be leaning towards that right now, not because Maxey's bad, not because he did anything wrong, just because when he's out there being the main initiator of the offense, when he is leading the charge and they can move up and down the floor, you see how potent he is. I mean, he almost looks like a young Damian Lillard out here. It's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy. And then the last one to put the cherry on top, Tyrese Maxey, brings the ball to the floor. Look at that quick 3, man. That was some Steph Curry-like action right there. And then the last one to put the cherry on top, Harden. What a look behind the back. Maxey, a deep 3. Doesn't matter if it's off the catch, off the bounce. Doesn't matter if he's stepping back off the dribble. Tyrese Maxey has a beautiful shot. He continues to get better. And this is, I think, what we imagine, coming into this season in terms of what we expected based on what we saw in the preseason. He can take that leap. Tyrese Maxey was brilliant last night. Other than that, the other main thing in this game was, to me, that the Sixers played much better defense. For once, they were communicating, and I thought it was so huge because the Sixers went to a small ball lineup. I thought Paul Reed was going to play last night. He didn't even see the floor, I don't think, more than 2 minutes at the end. He didn't even see the floor. It was a small ball lineup for a majority of the game. and Doc Rivers matched them up with the Toronto Raptors. PJ Tucker being at the 5 was amazing because we were able to switch everything. I saw a lot of communication. The pick and roll was not an exploit tactic for the Raptors last night because, usually they live in that little white space at the mid-range game and they just kill us all game. Nah, the Sixers were on it because everybody was able to switch. When you have Joel Embiid on the floor, he sags back a lot. And not just the Raptors, a lot of teams just kind of eat us up from that mid-range, once they get the switch and once they get the optimal matchup. That wasn't happening last night. You had Melton making an impact. How about Matisse Thybulle? That's my other big takeaway of the game. Thybulle finally gets in. He plays 22 minutes last night. He goes 2 for 6 from the field, had a couple threes. And honestly, his shot didn't look half bad. It looked okay. He kept the defense honest a little bit. And he also had a steal and 2 blocks. Matisse Thybulle came through once again. And talk about seizing the opportunity. I thought Thybulle did an excellent job last night in his opportunities, especially, kind of being cold because he hasn't played. And to me, you might need to keep playing him moving forward. If he can be a defensive stopper, he definitely helped on some of the guards and wings last night, just making his impact felt. And it's almost like that moment where you're like, okay, well, why hasn't Matisse Thybulle been playing? Why hasn't he played more than 5 minutes in the first 5 games? It's kind of a head scratcher, especially going up against some of the star power and some of the lethal guards and wings we have. Why not put in a ball stopper like Matisse Thybulle to try to get some of those extra possessions back for the Sixers? Honestly, every guy was just on it last night. They were on their toes. They were moving much quicker. The pace was much better. And yeah, that is attributed a lot to Joel Embiid not being in the game. I'm not saying we can't work out a game plan with Joel. I think it takes some work, and I think, it definitely, with all the guys that need touches, it definitely takes some time. But the coach needs to figure that out because there's no reason we should look that lethal last night. In fact, it reminded me of the Grizzlies game last year when everybody was out and Maxey was leading the charge, just how fast we're able to play. It's really amusing to see. I love it. It's so nice just to see everybody hustling up and down the floor and, a lot of easy points on the fast break. It's really nice to see. So I was impressed, but Maxey going for 44, in addition to him being one of the main guys on the offense last night and being the focal point, he also was just on. And I think it's fair to say the Raptors were kind of off as well. There were a couple, easy actions that the Sixers kind of blew on defense. Like I said, they played much better. There were a couple wide open ones that the Raptors just missed. I know they brought it back to about 6, 7, 8 point in terms of the lead in the third quarter. It was like, okay, here we go again. But the Sixers put their foot on the gas pedal. They weren't going to Maxey early in the third. They go back to him in the fourth, and he just finished them off. He was incredible. This was the best career game for Tyrese Maxey. He looks so confident. And it just goes to show, man, even if you have James Harden, Joel Embiid out there, when you feed Tyrese Maxey, he's ready for this. He is ready. Even though he's only 21 years old, he can be this guy if he is allocated the right amount of possessions on offense. And as a coach, you got to find a way to work that in. You can't let Maxey be the off-ball guard 100% of the time, sitting out there in the corner, just not doing anything, So you got to figure it out for sure. But other than that, I thought everybody played well. Thought they stepped up and they got a much-needed win. At this point, it almost feels like, all right, we need to win these games very badly. Harden had a decent game, not a crazy game. Tobias, 5 for 14, not a crazy game. Tyrese Maxey can be, one of the main keys of this offense if you let him go. And the bench contributed a little bit. Like I said, Trez had probably his best game of the year with 9 points. It was nice to see. In terms of the Raptors, Siakam at 26. He's looked pretty good this year. Anunoby with 19. Van Vliet was awful. 0 for 11 from the field. Like I said, that doesn't happen every single night. But other than that, the Sixers shot 42% from deep, Raptors 23%. And I just thought, this was the Sixers night. This was the Sixers game. But it's awesome having the confidence with a guy like Tyrese Maxey. And, maybe you have to stagger that lineup more or give him more opportunities to go out there and lead the charge. Because, man, when he does that, he is special. Now we saw he can do it. So there's no reason the next game or next couple games he should just go away. And it appears Joel Embiid's going to play today. So we'll see if we can kind of take some of the things we did last night and convert them with Joel Embiid on the floor. If not, man, we got to find a way to make this work. But those are just my thoughts. Sixers get a big W. Give me all your thoughts on what you saw down below in the comments section. Like always, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.